A Southern Kentucky mother and father about to be evicted from their home were taken to jail, all because of the living conditions in their home. Police in Laurel County say Christopher and Brandy Bowling were living in a home that was beyond filthy. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more on why the condition of their home is considered a crime.
A constable was taking a writ of possession to the tenants living inside this home on David Hibbett's Lane near London around 8:30 Monday night.
We knocked on the door, and when the residents of the property came to the door, we actually entered the residence, and when we did, we couldn't believe it.
These photos are snapshots of some of what they saw.
No waste, just a lot of spoiled food and trash everywhere. It's unbelievable to believe that children were living in that set of circumstances.
39-year-old Christopher Bowling and his 34-year-old wife Brandy were arrested because police say their 4 children ages 2 to 12 were living in filth.
A far cry from being dirty. I mean, it was filthy. Even officers noted on the citation that it was unfit for living conditions.
Police say they had not received any complaints about the home, but believe the eviction was actually positive in removing the children from a terrible situation.
So it's important for law enforcement to be notified, even if we hadn't been there for the writ of possession, to be notified by neighbors or relatives if they know a situation like this exists.
Both remain in jail. The children were put into the custody of social services. In Laurel County, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Christopher and Brandy Bowling are each facing misdemeanor charges of third-degree criminal abuse.
We're seeing a little bit more of that cloud cover today, but other than that, we do continue to see those just hot temperatures and, of course, those drier conditions. We're going to take you to Interstate 75 into London. You can see those clouds have been increasing slightly throughout the day. They're starting to decrease a little bit as we head into the rest of those evening hours, but still plenty of sunshine here at WYMT. Looking outside the front porch, seeing a few clouds here and there, but still seeing beautiful blue skies and, of course, that sunshine. Satellite and radar really mimicking that as well. You see a few of those clouds starting to increase, which has actually cooled off some spots. So you'll notice those clouds increasing. Big sandy region, and check it out. Moorhead is 81 degrees, 82 into Pikeville and Prestonsburg, 84 into Ashland, even that 81 down into Wise. So they've seen a little bit more of that cloud cover, but for us who have seen a lot of sunshine, those upper 80s, even some spots hit those lower 90s for today. At least we've seen those dew points low to mid 60s, so a little bit on the drier side, so really not having to deal with that humidity, which means it's not that muggy out there this evening. Now we'll see the humidity increase a little bit this evening, which will allow for some patchy fog late tonight, early into tomorrow. Most of us will be into those lower 60s. Some valleys could be in the upper 50s, so a little bit cooler with those mostly clear skies. But what does that mean as we head into the rest of that work week, and will we see rain anytime soon? I'll have that and more coming up in just a little bit.
All right, thank you, Paige. That dry weather has first responders and county officials across Kentucky concerned. The Floyd County Judge Executive's office announced an early burn ban for the county. Prestonsburg Fire Department Chief Mike Brown says all it takes is one small spark to start a big fire.
Then you would endanger homes, forestry, wildlife, and not including the men and women that have to go out and try to contain the fires.
The State Division of Forestry's daytime burn bans will go into effect for everyone on October 1st. That's when the fall forest fire season officially begins. Now, Floyd County is not alone in already issuing a complete burning ban. We have a list of those counties that's growing daily on our website, WYMT.com. Well, as Floyd County's burn ban went into effect, crews responded to an out-of-control fire near the Ivell community. Forestry officials tell us it was about 80 acres in size, and 4 departments from Floyd and Pike counties were called out to fight it. We hope to have more on this fire coming up tonight at 11. A day at the Red River Gorge takes a turn for the worse. The Wolfe County coroner says an experienced climber died after a fall in the Muir Valley climbing area yesterday afternoon. Victor Puente explains why investigators are having trouble finding out what caused the fall.
The man who died yesterday was an experienced climber. People who knew him tell me that they are still trying to figure out exactly what went wrong. The Wolfe County coroner said 59-year-old Martin Vogel was with a group of 4 other people when he went up a wall at the Muir Valley climbing area.
It's one of the most popular climbing destinations in the state.
During that climb, Vogel fell and was killed. Wolf County Search and Rescue has started an investigation into how it happened.
It's important to understand why these events occurred so we can share that information and hopefully prevent future occurrences.
The coroner told me they checked Vogel's equipment and couldn't find anything faulty. Chief May said while they normally stay busy during the summer, they don't get a lot of calls about climbers.
It's more of your weekend warriors, your backpackers, your hikers, your campers. The climbing community, they do a really good job, keeping safety where it needs to be.
He also told me Vogel was an experienced climber who was a friend to a lot of people.
They climb together, they hang out together, and they know one another quite well. So when news of something like this comes out, it really has a ripple effect, not just in Kentucky, but across the country in the climbing world.
The coroner told me that while Vogel had a Lee County address, he had actually moved here from out of state. So they had a little bit of difficulty this morning notifying his family, but they were eventually able to get in touch with one of his brothers. In Wolf County, Victor Puente, WYMT Mountain News.
We are told Vogel volunteered as a youth climbing coach in Lee County at the recreational center. A new lawsuit now filed against Interblu executives asks that the failed battery manufacturing plant pay $30 million in damages. That's according to the Lexington Herald-Leader. The lawsuit filed by Dapco Investments, an investor group from Florida, calls Interblu, quote, a bogus Eastern Kentucky battery plant. The group gave $3 million to Interblu back in 2018. The suit says the now bankrupt company says its executives paid themselves and took useless trips overseas. Interblu declared bankruptcy earlier this year. They already are facing another lawsuit from a group of Pikeville investors. A new lawsuit says Kentucky's Republican candidate for Attorney General should be removed from the ballot. The Lexington Herald reports the lawsuit argues Daniel Cameron does not have the 8 years of experience as a practicing attorney as required by Kentucky law. Cameron was first licensed in October of 2011, but spent the next 2 years serving as a clerk for a federal judge. Ethics guidelines state that clerks may not practice law. If the suit is successful, it's not clear who would take Cameron's place on the Republican ticket. Of course, Floyd County native and former Attorney General Greg Stumbo is running on the Democratic side. Now, minutes ago, we received a statement from the Cameron campaign saying in part, quote, Cameron is more than qualified to serve legally. Remember, this is 2019, not 1819. We will not let an old white career politician, referring, I assume, to Greg Stumbo, cheat a young, qualified black attorney out of a fair election, unquote. We'll post that whole statement. That's the first time I'm seeing it. We'll post the whole thing on our website. Former Floyd County Chief Deputy Sheriff Lindsay Hunt died Sunday. He worked in the department for more than 30 years. WYMT's Marianne Fletcher talked with his granddaughter, who is also the daughter of current Sheriff John Hunt, about her memories of Lindsay.
A public servant who loved his family, his job.
He loved fishing, he loved the Wildcats.
Chris Wall met former Chief Sheriff's Deputy Lindsay Hunt many years ago.
And you could talk to hours with him, and it seemed like the minutes.
Lindsay worked for the Floyd County Sheriff's Department for more than 30 years.
He'd shake your hand, he'd pat you on your back, he would hug you, and everything like that. He was a true public servant in every way.
Lindsay died Sunday. Many knew him as a Chief Sheriff's Deputy, but one young lady knew him as something more.
I mean, I know him more as a grandfather than as a deputy, or just like I know my dad more as a dad than a sheriff.
Now, as the third generation, she works in the sheriff's office. Hannah says although he is gone, she will never lose the precious memories they share.
I would paint his nails at times. I remember taking my grandmother's lipsticks because he was bald, so I would draw on his head with lipsticks. He wouldn't care. He'd let me do whatever.
While holding on to the special times for the rest of her life.
Yeah, it'll be missed for sure.
In Floyd County, Marianne Fletcher, WYMT Mountain News.
Lindsay Hunt's visitation begins Wednesday evening from 6 until 8 at the Nelson Frazier Funeral Home in Martin. The funeral will be held Thursday at the Allen Baptist Church in Prestonsburg beginning at 11 a.m. A Williamsburg man will spend the next 10 years of his life behind bars in connection with a 2018 murder. Last September, this man, Joseph Bauer, admitted to his role in the murder of Laura Anderson. She went missing earlier that year in February. He was sentenced to 5 years for complicity to commit murder and 5 years for facilitation to commit robbery. Anderson's body has never been found. We now know when a McCreary County murder trial should begin. Jason Phillips, pictured here, is accused in the murder of Jason Dishman. Investigators say the shooting happened back in March at a home on West Highway 92 in Stearns. That trial is set to begin on January 26th. The state of Kentucky sees an increase in counterfeit money 3 times during the year, one being festival season. WYT's Madison Pergram talked to the Secret Service today about what to look for.
With festival season underway across the region, the use of counterfeit money becomes an increasing concern.
Counterfeiting, we know, occurs, periodically throughout the year, specifically at festivals.
An issue enhanced by the cash-based interaction between merchants and consumers. United States Secret Service agent Paul Buda stopped by the Hazard Chamber meeting to discuss the issue ahead of the town's Black Gold Festival.
And they count on the anonymity of the crowd to help them move through and pass their counterfeit.
But a couple ways you can identify counterfeit money is to look for security features that are on $5 bills and up.
They're going to have your embedded security thread. The embedded security thread is a little line everybody sees in a note, and it's got the denomination-specific printings.
Bills should also have a 3-dimensional feel. James East, Hazard Deputy Police Chief, says that the goal is to try to make sure no one is getting deceived.
As they are here basically trying to make money, we want to make sure that they're not getting out a whole lot of money by having a lot of counterfeit bills.
Leaving community events like these a welcoming place for both vendors and consumers. In Hazard, Madison Pergram, WYMT Mountain News.
The Secret Service has passed out Know Your Money brochures at local police departments. If you see any counterfeit money, you should call your nearest police agency.
And of course, the warmer trend continues as we head into the rest of the work week, but we also have that moderate drought in place for some of our areas, so are any rain chances on the way? I'll have that and more coming up in just a little bit.
And a rising name in country music will ring in the new year right here at home in Eastern Kentucky. Find out when you can see Tyler Childers live in concert coming up.